Hey everybody, and welcome to a Moo version of Quick Review Thursday. I'm your one of the co-hosts, Paulie Presenza, otherwise known as the Moo Cow, and I'm joined by,
Jonathan Moody, your co-host.
and together we are joined by my chicken.
Also got my niece's dog Thor here, but he's sleeping, so I'm not gonna bother him.
Outstanding. And today we are here to talk about the brand spanking new, and I do mean spanking new, 2023 movie. It's on Tubi and a couple other places called Maid Droid. And this is not the 2008 Japanese movie called Maid Droid with a it's just sort of by itself with a dash, I think. And this is the new one, written and directed by Rich Mallory, whom you may know, Mr. Moody, because he was the writer and producer for Samurai Cop 2.
He was
And
also the co-director with Ruby LaRocca
right,
on Sociopathia.
Sociopathia, and directed Holy Terror and
Holy Terror, which I actually reviewed last year
yeah,
for one of my shows.
Felines. I've been heard a lot about Felines and Wicked Game and a few other things. And so this is his movie called Maid Droid, and it stars the wonderful Faith West as Mako. And then we've also got Jose Adam Alvarez as Harrison,
I like.
Kylie,
Yep. Go ahead.
Kylie Michelle as Julie, Anthony Rainville as Jonathan, Chris Spinelli as Eddie, and Elizabeth Chang and Quentin Boyer.
Yep. So,
So,
but
what do you say?
I absolutely like everybody in the cast was just amazing. Actually, I was surprised because you usually find me crap, because you
Oh
don't
yeah,
know. I don't think you know a lot of times. Most of the time, you just
I was fully expecting this to be a ridiculous, crazy, over the top, stinky piece of junk. And no, it wasn't that. I can't say that I loved the movie, but I can't say that I hated it either. It
mhm.
was kind of in the middle. It's kind of more of a mech for me. You know, this had a lot of good things to it, but in fact, I think that it blew a lot of opportunities that it could have had with the narrative and with character development, unfortunately. But
So my buddy Dustin Hubbard that we know and
mhm.
love. I mentioned this because Rich Mallory had worked in Sociopathia that Nicola Fiore was in.
Oh yeah,
That's how I know that stuff. So I mentioned this, and first of all, Dustin said that Nicola had told him that she had nothing but like amazing things to say about Rich and
okay,
Ruby working together. Like they were great, and they were nice. They're very professional, which she's surprised about because with a lot of this, a lot of these movies and stuff,
oh sure,
yeah, you're gonna come up with some like unprofessional, especially when a lot of it does involve nudity. And this movie,
it
he
was
hadn't
new.
seen it, but the way I sort of described it, we kind of came up with a great idea of what to call it. It is, a Skinamax Megan, the movie Megan, the new one. You haven't seen it yet or not, but like produced by James Wan, or I don't think he directed it, but produced by him. Uh, that movie about the robot girl or whatever that's supposed to be helping people
Yeah,
out and everything, and then she turns on them. This
it's a
is like
little bit of
that
that
version.
mixed up with a little bit of Blade Runner.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I would say that too.
And that to me is where I think this movie could have gone. For example, the way it ended up going, where Harrison is this kind of schlub, and he gets dumped by his girlfriend, who's not particularly nice and is kind of a jerk. And stupidly he ends up going back to her, but he that whole thing is what makes him go and get the maid droid, who's really a sex bot. Let's just get that out of the way.
Well, I mean, and his own, like he kind of knows that, right? But he's like not originally. I don't know why gets him because Harrison is a little, yeah, like you said, he's a schlub, and he's kind of like this guy who I guess he's rich, but we don't know how rich. We just know he
Rich
works.
enough to afford a love droid.
Well, because they say like. we know how much you earn, I guess, or whatever, like beyond your.
Right. And he kind of allows that to just go. He doesn't
Well, at
really
first
push
he
that.
doesn't. At first he doesn't, which I was glad. First he's like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. And then he's like, wait, wait, never mind. Never mind. I want this, you know?
Right. I mean, I don't know about you, but if somebody automatically knew my finances and I didn't know who the hell they were, I'd be really super ticked off. Really super ticked off.
Yeah,
So,
and the funny
yeah.
thing is it's just from a phone call too. Like these people had no idea. I don't think these people knew he was calling,
Right,
or
right.
whatever.
So that's what I mean by as far as a schlub. He's not necessarily a bad guy, though he makes some dumb decisions. But the thing is, stuff like that he just allows to go. And like the first couple of times that Mako starts to go haywire, he just kind of lets it go, pays
Well,
no
he
mind to
calls the
it.
people up and
The
discusses it with
second
them.
time,
Well, was it the second time? I thought it
it
was
was
the
the
first
second
time.
time. No, he just kind of ignored it the first time.
They're just well, no, because yeah, the first time she was in the kitchen, and it looked like she was sleepwalking, I guess, or whatever. And then the second time she's like over him, and that was when he
With a
started getting
knife
freaked out
or a
with the
box
knife.
cutter.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. But I mean, there are a few other times when this happens, like when she freaks out and he's like, oh my God, you kind of freaked out. And then that's it. He doesn't explore anything. He doesn't go into find out why. Why is it going on? And as a matter of fact, he doesn't explore anything about her. This is a perfect opportunity to deal with what is basically a whole new life form here. What is life like experience for you? What I mean, she says that I'm designed to experience emotions just like a normal person. How does that work exactly? Does she have memories? Apparently, she has some memories because she talks about it, but they are, I guess they're supposed to erase the memories, but
I
that's
think
where all
I
the
see where you're
problems
going
come
with the
from.
Blade Runner. Like it's like
Yeah.
do androids dream of
Electric
electric
sheep,
sheep,
right?
which is the original title for Blade Runner. So I can see that.
You
Like,
could
are they really
definitely
human
go
or?
into more about this. And what I thought they were going to do was that he was going to be an actual nice guy throughout the whole thing and fall in love with her, and that she was still going to go haywire. But instead of going after him and getting jealous, she was going to be like, now I have all these memories of all these other guys who treated me like shit. I'm going to go and kill them. And that she would go and
Well, she already
stalk them
killed one
and
of
kill
them, right?
them.
Because in the beginning of the movie, you see somebody in a tub and she's just cleaning around or whatever. So she killed that guy, and I assumed that was the guy for that, like, attacked her or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they do like later on, they're like, she's done this before, which was that guy that, so she killed that
Which,
guy who
you
like,
know, as a company providing goods and services, when one of your products actually kills someone, you tend to sort of want to fix that because
or
you're going to
just
get
get,
caught.
well, they say they wiped her memory, but apparently it didn't wipe it clean enough or
Yeah,
whatever. And
well,
so,
I can understand that because you can you think you get rid of stuff on your computer, but you really haven't. It's someone very, very good can still find stuff. So just word for the wise out there, people. But
maybe that's a little bit of what this had, which
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
honestly, this was a lot deeper of a movie that I was not expecting. I was
Well, I
expecting,
was expecting more to be a bloodbath. I was expecting her to run
yeah,
around all these different things and start killing them. And then I figured he was going to fall in love with her, and then he was going to have to come to a choice. Do I stick with her, even though she's a psychotic killing robot but loves me, or do I turn her in and stop her and maybe get her
but
turned
I
off?
but
You know?
I do love all the love stuff. Like I love all the her falling in love with him, and because she's never had that before, like everybody's sort of used her, and everything, which
Yeah, that's not bad. What I love is when she's, the results of that is that is starting to do new things to her mind.
mm,
Like that one scene right after, she's decided this is really good and she goes out and sits down and starts looking up at the stars. And this is one reason why I really love Faith West's performance in this. She looks like she's looking up into the stars, like she's finally thinking about future for her for the very first time. And for
mm.
her to impart that, in addition to everything else she's already done, she's already shown that she's been very sweet. She can be very, empathetic, and you feel really bad for her and all this, and then psychotic as well. For her to show that huge range of emotions for this creature that's not really supposed to have emotions, I thought was fantastic.
And apparently androids or what is it, the made bots, whatever you want to call them, have PTSD, like, and that's what I was like thinking when I was watching it. I'm like, oh my God, she has like emotional scarring
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah,
but like a
yeah.
human. And so it reminded
Hmm.
me there was a movie that I used to watch as a kid on Disney Channel called Not Quite Human, where there's three movies. There's Not Quite Human, Not Quite Human 2, and then Still Not Quite Human, where they were, each movie they were
Still not fucking human.
Chip, the son of Alan Thicke, played by Jay Underwood, is a he's adjusted to family life, then he has to adjust to school life, then he has to adjust to just life, and everything like that. And he becomes, he's not human, but he
Mhm.
can actually feel emotional stuff. He can't cry, because those would like, mess up his, mess him up, but or he just can't cry because he just doesn't have those, doesn't have that ability. But this girl was as close to that kind of thing, and I just loved that.
Yeah,
Like, I
she
thought
was
she
she
was.
was excellent. Now, I do think that they probably should have given her character a few more limitations to make her a little bit more realistic as a
mm,
robot, but I don't fault her performance for that. I fault that for the
the
writing.
writing, maybe.
I think as much as Rich Mallory did a very good job with this, I think he kind of went for the easy story as opposed to something a little more layered, a little more complicated, a little more complex, which I think could have really enriched the movie. But you know, for
So
what
I
it is,
heard like
this was much better than I expected.
his next one deals with what is it, like, basically people inside of a mental hospital, and they get out and they form a lesbian relationship with each other and stuff like
As you
that.
do.
Like, as some people do, I'm sure. Not me. I mean, yeah. But so he's got that, and it's called what is it called? Um, Borderline, you know.
Okay.
And I'm really excited for that because,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see it. He's definitely got a lot of good stuff, a lot of positive
well,
things.
that's the thing. Like, I think each time I even saw when I saw Holy Terror, Unholy Terror, I think it was Unholy Terror, whatever it was. I thought it was well done, but it was lacking a few things, right? Which I feel like each movie he's doing, he's getting better, whether he's
Mhm.
listening to people, whether
That's
he's
good.
whatever he's doing, he's
And
getting
he's
getting better.
finding good people to work
Hmm.
with.
Yeah.
Like you said, this whole cast was really good. I had no complaints about anybody. And like I said, I just thought that Faith West was really, really good. I'm very much looking forward to her next performance, which, by the way, happens to be Amy the Visitor, which I don't think has come out yet, but that is a Charles Band movie. I
I wonder
can't
if
wait.
like Charles Band saw, because
It
like
could very well
unfortunately she
be.
is naked like most of the time in
It
this
would
movie.
not surprise me, but
And so was the other girl,
it's
the
yeah, yeah. But her character in Amy the Visitor is pretty similar in that she's playing yet another sort of artificial intelligence, sexy artificial intelligence creature. So that's kind of interesting.
I don't
So
know why, like, okay, is she now being typecast? Because
let's
those are
hope
the
not.
only two roles I saw on
Yeah,
Facebook
yeah,
or
yeah.
on
And I wish I
IMDb.
could find out more information about her. I'd love to interview her, but yeah, she really brought a lot to this role, and especially when, her poor character was suffering at the hands of those earlier guys. I just felt so bad for her, and I kept thinking to Harrison, you freaking idiot. All you have to do is be nice to her. That's all you have to do. You
Yeah,
be
but
nice
then
to
he
her
starts
and
wanting to go
go
back to
away.
his ex
He's a
because,
jerk.
well, I know, but she was real, you know.
So,
Even though this girl is real enough where, he can
Hell
feel
yeah.
those things. She's still not real. And I think there's a little bit of that, and they didn't explore it necessarily, but I could kind of feel it of like Harrison feeling that maybe, just maybe, it would be too weird to to be like dating and married to a robot,
Well, he wouldn't have to
but
marry her. I
he
mean,
just he led her on, which was wrong.
yes, he
He
did.
lied to her a lot. He abused her at one point, slapping
Yes, he
her
did.
and like slapping her ass and then spanking her. And
And then
then
just never asked her anything about herself or
I
anything.
know, like he never really explored that because I don't
He
think
didn't deserve
he
her.
yeah, and then she was asking him everything.
I
She
deserve
wanted to
makeup.
know, well, you want a Maid Droid?
Hell
Oh Lord.
yeah.
I don't think
Hell
you can
yeah.
afford a Maid Droid. I don't know
No,
how you
I
can
can't
afford
afford a
one,
Maid Droid.
you
I can't
know.
afford it. But here's the interesting thing, though, Jonathan. The Japanese movie, also called Maid Droid, has a similar kind of thing. It's a lot more about the relationship. It starts when the guy who owns the robot is old. He's like 60, 64 years old, and he's had this maid robot for many, many years. And it's to the point where the maid bot is now broken because she's old. She's like an original unit that doesn't get made anymore, and there's no
Not
parts for
Maid.
her. Yeah, and he's got to take care of her and got to do all this stuff. And so he's sort of doing all this because he's had this long-term love relationship with this thing that's not, may not be real, but it's almost like a completely new form of life. And then I think they end up going back in time and they sort of explore when and why and how and everything. So that's kind of an interesting
It's a little
parallel.
bit different, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to this one,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
I mean, I don't know. I like I don't know if that was a it was not a remake because I don't think they
No, no,
got
no,
the
no, no.
rights, but it's really weird that like we had the same idea, but somebody had done it before us, kind of thing, like America.
Well, this was made more to be a thriller slash horror kind of movie. It's just that end of it really kind of didn't end up happening.
Well,
You
it
know,
did. I mean, she
not much, not
killed
really.
both people. But she didn't even realize she killed him, I
And
don't think.
even that doesn't happen until like an more than an hour afterwards.
But you do like throughout the whole movie, you see her sort of becoming creepy and or
Yeah,
having those flashbacks of being
and
abused.
and that's why I wish part of that time had been her deciding that this guy Harrison was giving her everything that she really wanted and deserved, and those other people that she was with deserved death because of that, and then she was going off and killing them, and then
Right.
she's trying to hide it from him, and then he finds out. That would have been very interesting because it puts him in an extremely awkward position, you
Well, it was,
know.
I will say this. I was very interested once she said like he'd like to have her over for more than the just 4 hours or whatever, and you have because he basically, you know what he did? He paid for the girlfriend experience,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
for that thing. So he paid for this girlfriend experience. I don't even know, like he never like checked his bank account and saw how much they took out,
You can
as far
afford
as
it.
we ever saw. If they ever even
Okay.
did, like who knows what was going on. It was weird, like, and if that person knows how much your bank account is, how come she can't tell what's going on inside that droid and
Probably
stuff?
can, and that's another creepy thing that never gets explored
Yeah,
because all of that stuff is probably downloaded somewhere. That never crosses his head. Come on, dude.
yeah.
This guy's a
So
schmuck.
they might know already and everything. That's why the people come in later.
Mhm.
We actually get to see Cam or whatever. I think that was her name. Who was the basically on my Tubi on the captions it just said agent, you know. So it didn't say her name or whatever. But so she was there just chatting with
But
him
but
and
think about it this way. Think if you got yourself a new dog, a beautiful, wonderful, sweet, fabulous dog that you just absolutely adore, and you have this wonderful month of being with this great new pet that you just think is the greatest thing ever. And then you come to find out the dog has been running around killing other dogs and cats in the neighborhood, like tons of them. And now you're kind of responsible for that. What do
Didn't
you
we watch that
do?
movie? Wasn't
Kind
that
of
the
sort of.
basis to Man's Best Friend?
Well, except man's best friend was ready to kill them too. You know what I mean?
Well, no, not Ali. Never Ali Sheedy until the end
Till
when
the
he
end.
was threatened by her. But
Yeah.
most of the time, up until then, he was going around. He wanted to kill the boyfriend. He wanted to kill
Right.
everybody just for her because it was going to be him and her against the world. And so
But
that was like, yeah, that was a
yeah, it
that.
puts you in that situation where you have to make extremely difficult choice, and it's kind of like the end. Hear me out. It's going to seem kind of weird, but it reminded me of the end of American Werewolf in London, where they kept talking about how oh, the only one who can kill him is the woman that loves him, and so and she ends up they track him down after he's run amok and gone crazy and killing everything, and she walks down the alley and she's like, David, and he for that one brief second softens, and then the cops are able to kill him, and because she
Mm,
has to make that and then she's broken up about it, and you get the feeling she'll never get over it. Same kind of a choice should be made here. If they could have
right.
made that would have been that just would have been a whole lot more, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
overall, this was still a better movie than I expected it to be, and it was well directed, and the writing was good enough for what it was. Although I still think it could have been better. Performances were good, and yeah, and overall, I was extremely impressed by Faith West, and I really can't wait to see more stuff coming from her. And God, I would love to get her on our show to talk about her and see where did she come from, and get her insight into how she was able to flesh out this character as well as she did.
maybe we'll be able to get a bunch of the people on our shows or whatever to talk about
That'd be
this
great.
because it was a, Rich Mallory has a, very amazing career right now, like, and everything. I'm very impressed by him. I'm excited to see Borderline, which Kylie Michael, who plays the girlfriend, Julie, she actually has a she's got a big part in that and everything, and
Mhm.
she's been
Well,
doing a lot of
I want to
promotion for it.
see I want to see Felines because I've heard about that one before. So, yeah, that's probably the next movie that I want to track down from this guy. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm kind of hoping that I can get some of these on DVD because you know me, I'm a physical media kind of guy. So, I'm hoping to track some of these down somewhere. And
I wonder if they even went, because that's a
see, I
sad
don't think
thing.
this one is. Yeah,
That's the sad thing. Like it
I
should,
know. I know.
like we
I'm
should have
right
been
there
able
with
to
you.
find it in the
Yep.
in the Walmart or whatever,
Yeah.
and shit.
Or
So
Amazon. That's what I'm
Amazon,
looking
Uncle
for.
Amazon or eBay
Hmm.
or something. I don't care, but like this is a really sweet movie, and a lot of movies are going straight to streaming, and that's a bummer because then you can't, unless you just rip it off of Tubi, you can't.
Yeah, or if you have like one of those public funding kind of things, and anybody who donates gets like a $25 DVD copy. But I don't think I ever saw anything for that.
No,
You
I don't
know.
think so. I think this was actually funded by, Greg Hanataka, the guy that did Samurai Cop 2.
Hmm.
He it said to present it, so I think he gave some of the money or
Well,
helped out or whatever.
yeah, Gregory Hadakana, Gregory Louis DiStefano, Rich Mallory, and Chris Spinelli are all producers on
And Chris
this.
Spinelli was the other guy. He was
Right.
the guy that came in to, like,
To
to
clean
set up,
up.
to clean up and to do that stuff.
Yep.
I liked the douchebag friend for a little bit. I thought I'd see more of him, but we
Hmm.
only see one scene of him and like in person, and then the rest is texts and stuff. So it's kind.
Hmm.
I thought she was gonna go kill him
Right.
and
I
stuff
thought
like
he
that.
might have been one of the guys before because remember he even asks, he says, please tell me you weren't with that dude.
Well, she did say I can't remember, right? And remember, her brain was wiped. So it very well she could have, and we won't know
Mm.
necessarily who he had.
And here's one other thing I want to throw out there. The movie ended in such a way that if they want to, They could bring Mako back, right? After they get her fixed up.
Well, her name won't be Mako.
No, it won't be Mako, but it could be Maid Droid too, right?
Well, it could be Mako because they could have a scene where she introduces herself and she says, "Hi, my name is Mako," and that would be even creepier because her brain is supposed to be fried or whatever. And if she can remember her name there, then that means she has some memories of what happened. So if they do a sequel, I would, and this is a movie that I actually would love a sequel, but I
I'd
would
be
love
very
it
interested too.
to explore what you were kind of talking about, but like more of the violentness or whatever
Mhm.
of her character and not the love angle in the second one. I think it should she should become sort of obsessed with the guy and the guy's not that interested or whatever, and then she goes after everybody who comes into that guy's life, you know.
Or she could go full dollhouse slash Joss Whedon and decide to go nuts on her maker and for being making her imperfect, going back and getting some revenge on them. You know what I mean?
Could
That
be
could be
cool.
interesting. You
Yeah.
could definitely go a lot of different ways with this,
No, yeah. I mean,
especially if you bring that actress back.
well, Gregory and Rich and everybody that's a part of this, make do a sequel if you want, like if you can.
Mm,
I know I mean they've done I'll announce this right now, and it's not going to come out until like November or something, so you'll probably forget anyway. But Amityville Cop is something that Dale Niehaus and I did for my first time watch Friday,
mm.
directed by Gregory Hennen. No, wait, did he direct it? I think he might have just produced it. And well, he directed it, and Gino Mikigi wrote it and stuff. But anyway, from these guys are out there in Hollywood just making movies and everything, finding talented people.
Finding Faith West and saying, "Be in our movie." Thank God.
Was
Please,
just gonna
please
warn
more.
everybody, it was me and Dale do not say great things about Amityville Cop.
Oh, wow, what a surprise.
But this was
That's
a
just it.
lot
I
better.
expected I expected this to be kind of like that, but this was better.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be crap. No, I'm not, yeah, and it's not anything to do with the people involved because I didn't really even know who was involved.
Mm.
But it's because it's on Tubi and Tubi is half crap.
And it's
So
Maid Droid. Come on, you fully with a name like that, you kind of expect it to be sort of ridiculous and over the top and exploitative.
as long as
But
it wasn't directed or produced by BC-14, I think we're okay.
exactly, exactly. And while there was nudity, I didn't think that it was too much.
I did
It
a little
was
bit.
a
I
little bit.
thought like the
They could have gone
girlfriend,
really
the
off the deep
girlfriend, I
deep
felt
end.
like it almost felt like every flashback scene she got naked.
Of course, because
But
it's coming from his point of view, and he's a shallow asshole.
I okay.
See,
From that version,
what's he
maybe
gonna
I
think
get
about?
that.
He's not gonna think about her doing something nice. He's gonna think
But
about
I
it
don't know.
naked.
After a while it just felt weird to me. Like it just felt creepy. I didn't like it. But but now from that perspective I might be like,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
it makes
It
sense.
makes
It makes
sense,
sense.
so it's okay. It's not exploitative. Um, but Faith West doing it a couple times. She didn't get naked every thank God, because
She's a
she was in
sex
a lot of
boy.
scenes in the movie.
She's
So
supposed to be. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's not a problem
yeah,
either.
yeah.
So that makes sense. But it wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't you didn't have that stupid thing that I always hate, which is you're watching somebody take a shower, which is so freaking such a boring and overused and stupid thing that never advances the plot
Well,
and
because
always
when they
feels
take the
gratuitous.
shower, they do it in a ridiculous way. No girls ever
Right.
shower the way that guys make them shower and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And I'm just
ridiculous.
like, yeah, that's just no, you
So
know.
stupid. No, this made a lot more sense
This
and
made
it was
sense, and the
better.
characters, and there was a little sex and stuff and
Mm.
things, and but
A
it
little
was done.
awkward.
It was done tastefully at times where I actually didn't mind it. I'm not opposed to nudity. Like, of course, I'm a dude,
Puritan.
but I'm just one of those people these days that like too much gets to be too much,
I just don't want it
and
thrown in there like a bunch of ketchup as a way of saying we're not really going to put much effort into our movie, but if we throw enough boobs in there, you won't care. I don't
right.
like that attitude at all. I
There
can't
has to
stand
be some substance behind everything.
exactly,
So yeah, and there
exactly.
was. And so thank God.
Yes,
So this
yes.
movie, I was shocked because I wasn't sure how you feel once I started watching it. I was like, oh God. But then I started watching and go, yeah, this is a Paul pick.
Well, that's the thing. This is another one that I looked around, and this one had been recommended to me by, first of all, by the Tubi thing, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I did a little research on it, and I was like, oh, this sounds like it could be very interesting. And that's when I found out who was involved, and I was like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, it's not something we could do for Indie Film Cafe, but for Quick Review Thursday, we got it.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think this was a better movie than most of those, although it is still an indie movie. So we
It's an
could
indie.
have.
But see, here's the thing. Most of the time, you don't know what we're gonna watch. You just kind of pick it, especially when we're at the
Not all the
studio.
time.
You pick something that you get from the Dollar Tree or something at the thing. But on Tubi, but
Yeah.
this time you actually knew of this
for
movie and you
for
picked
for
this
quick
one.
review movies, I try to plow through movies that I haven't seen or don't know very much about, just to be able to get to some of them,
Yeah,
and
because yeah, we have so many
because there's
that
just
we
so
need to
many of them.
watch.
But this one, the more I looked into it, the more it intrigued me. And then, of course, once I saw Faith West, I was like, oh, yeah, we're definitely going to check
She's
this
the
out.
new what's that girl that you like, Alice?
Oh,
Alex?
Alex Villarette.
Yeah, Alex Villarette. She's
I
the new
love me
Alex.
some Alex Villarette.
If
She's a
both of
better
them are in a
actress.
movie together, you would be like, I need that
She's
movie.
so far shows me that she's a better actress than Alex Villarette. I'm still convinced that Alex Villarette's going to give us a good performance soon. It's just she needs
Didn't
to
she
get a
play an
better film.
android or something in a movie?
She
Or
played a blind
was her just her
girl.
acting that bad? And she
I
was
think
like
so.
something. She was in something that the first
Uh,
movie we watched, where they were
Dollhouse.
doll. Oh, she was a doll, so it's sort of like a robot, kind of
Yeah,
thing. She was
that's a
supposed to be a
shame.
doll. Yeah, but Faith did a fantastic job, and
Fantastic.
she sounded like a robot, like her voice
Yes.
sounded robotic. And I mean, I bought her as one, or whatever.
I felt so bad for her at certain points. It was like, oh my God,
Well, I think that was the
just
point.
be
So,
nice to her for goodness sakes. She's like, oh, I've never been to the beach. Good Lord, dude, take her to the
or
beach. It's
no,
all
the
you gotta
desert. I
do.
think she
Or the
said
desert,
desert.
whichever.
Yeah, take her to the desert, man. What are you doing?
I
Like
know. And
it's
he's like
only if
thinking
she
about
finds
that.
out it's only 20 miles away, like fucking
Right,
take her to the
right.
desert.
Even if
You
she's
know.
malfunctioning, so what? I don't care.
Uh, she
You
killed him
know.
out in the desert. That'd be bad.
Well, if she starts killing other people, got to put the dog down when they start killing others. That's the thing.
Yeah, sad thing. All right.
It
Well,
is.
I think that's about it. That wraps it up on that
Yeah, so that
note.
was a fun one.
Yes. So thank you for picking this. So in a couple weeks, you'll get mine. I haven't done my next one
Well,
yet, but I've
work your
been.
moody magic and see if you can get some folks involved in this film in our on our interview show. That'd be
I'll
great.
try. I'll try. You know me. I'm always working. I'm trying. It's been weird, man. It's been a weird year because usually we have
Especially,
people
I'm
dying to be on our show, and now lately
and I'm
nobody wants to come on.
very curious as to how this Charles Band movie is going to be.
Yeah.
So that should be fascinating. And yeah, so if we can get her talking, that'd be fabulous.
For sure. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for checking this out. Um, join in
Or
2 weeks
chicken
where
and
it'll
this
be
out.
my episode. I usually do my episodes with a special guest. Paul doesn't have time to do two quick review Thursdays these days.
Yeah, I wish.
He wishes he had more time, but he doesn't. But so I usually do it with a guest, and then he'll
I
do it
gotta
with me later.
choke my chicken.
Weird. All right. Anyway, everybody, he's gonna choke his chicken, and I'm gonna go say goodbye. So have a good one, everybody.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye.